Welcome to a scheduling review for the NFMC Online Festival Management System, otherwise known as Vivace. This information is intended to be a refresher review. To go more in depth into scheduling details, review your area admin guide. As a reminder, please use Chrome and a desktop or laptop when scheduling. Chrome has proven itself as the most reliable browser. Safari works, but it uses only military time. In the Area Admin Guide, you will find the Festival Process Steps chart. This overview chart can provide a quick refresher each year. Theory registrations are not scheduled. You will not see your theory registrations in the Pre-Schedule or Allocation tabs. Instead, the theory registrations will appear on the Schedule tab in the Select a Report list named Theory Event Registered. Scheduling begins after your registration period has closed and all registrations have been approved. The message that there are still pending registrations will be visible until you have approved all registrations. Once approval is finished, you will see the schedule performance icon and you will click on this icon to enter the scheduling module. You have arrived on the setup page. The number of performances by event or class for your festival is now shown in the second column. You will need to provide duration times for each of these events. Last year's events will automatically carry over their assigned duration times to the current festival year. If you have a new event or class in an event this year, then you will need to assign a duration time. Your rooms will also be empty. Rooms and the time windows will need to be set up. To edit the times, simply click on the pencil icon in the duration column. Please note, assigned duration times need to remain constant for the entire festival. You cannot say difficult 1 is 10 minutes for most performances and then think you can change it to 8 minutes for a couple of performances. This will not work. Your duration table will also show the total time needed for each class in the festival. Add the right column to determine the total time required for your festival. A warning message will appear if events are missing a duration time. This message says the viola solo, medium 1, has not yet been assigned a time. Once added, the message will disappear. Duration times are very important. Take note of these times. You will need these as you schedule. Large festivals can have a very long duration table. Consider copying the information to a spreadsheet. Then you can sort the table by events. Here you can see all the violin solos grouped together. The total of the total violin solos is 158. Here's a summary of the instrumental festival with 449 registrations. The overview can help with planning your rooms. Note that spreadsheets are purely optional, but they have been found useful for the larger festivals. After assigning duration times, set up your rooms. The directions for adding a room is highlighted in light blue. First, add a room and use the pencil icon to edit the name of the room. You will also create time windows here. If you like the format of a particular room, you may make a copy of the room, then rename it. If you use a unique name for your room, such as Fiddling Fun or Troublemakers, the search box in the Pre-Schedule or Allocation tabs will work to isolate just that particular room. Names like Room 27 will find all occurrences of the word room, which is basically every room, and therefore defeats the search. Unique names maximizes search results and minimizes scrolling to look for a particular room. You can always return to the setup page and edit the room after you have completed your scheduling and before you compile for the very last time. Once you click Add a Room, you will be able to edit it. Name the room, avoiding punctuation marks like quotes or parentheses. As mentioned, you can always go back and edit the title of the room later. Create windows by entering the start and end times, including AM and PM. If you see military time in your afternoon windows, you know you forgot to switch your browser from Safari to Chrome. Continue adding more windows by clicking on the blue plus sign. Too many windows? Use the red trash can to delete any unwanted windows. Delete the entire room. Click the red Delete Room button in the upper right-hand corner. Note that you might want to delete any unused rooms after you compile a schedule. A room must be completely empty to be deleted. If you receive a message that you cannot delete because there are performances in that room, you need to go back to be sure all performances have been removed from the right side of that particular room in the pre-schedule and the allocation tabs. Time window reminders. Your judges will probably like a few breaks. Your steps to create a break: end a window at the beginning of a desired break. Start a new window after the break. End time in the scheduling module means when the time window ends. You cannot start a performance at 10:15 in this example. It must be completed by 10:15. You can have leftover time in a window, but you cannot exceed the time window. Leftover time in a time window should be less than your shortest assigned duration time. Vivace is flexible to allow either setting up your festival schedule, which uses individual schedule times, or use the recital format. The procedure is the same. The number of windows is the main difference. On the left is a room set up for a small festival, which assigns specific times for every student. There is one room for the guitar students and 3 other rooms for piano. On the right is a partial room setup for a festival which assigns students to recitals. You can see the 50-minute recitals. Reports are available for each scheduled or recital format when your schedule is compiled. Recital format can have numerous time windows. Copying a room saves a lot of time in the setup. You can see that the red room here has been copied and renamed the blue room, making setup easier. In the area admin guide, it is suggested to also create a cancellation room. This is for cancellations prior to the distribution of the final schedule to teachers. The purpose: to keep track of all your cancellations or special circumstances. You must still schedule cancellations. You cannot simply ignore them. The program requires that all registrations, even the cancellations, to be scheduled before the schedule can be compiled. Simply place your cancellations in the cancellation room. You now have a list of all cancellations without disrupting your schedule. There is no need to assign a time since they will not be performing. When entering ratings, they will receive a no rating or an R, and you will have an opportunity to write a short note why they canceled. In the same manner, you could also create a makeup room to include those students who will not or did not perform on festival day, but do plan a makeup. These rooms keep track of those special circumstances. Just a word of caution: moving cancellations after the final schedule has been distributed to teachers may disrupt your schedule, especially if you have allocations. So why not just delete the registrations? Please do not delete the registration. Use the cancellation room to track these registrations. You will then know who registered, who canceled, providing an accurate record of what happened that year. Well, what happens if a cancellation wants to schedule in a second festival that year? If a student cancels the first festival, the rating is still NR. If that particular student wants to re-register for the second festival, then the first festival's registration needs to be deleted so that they may re-register for the second festival. The same repertoire may be used since it was never performed. You will need your state admin to delete the registration. If you have further questions or concerns about this topic, please talk to your state admin. Now that your rooms are set up, it is time to move to the Pre-Schedule tab. If you missed any steps in the Setup tab, you will receive a warning what to fix before continuing to schedule your pre-schedules. This is the area that takes the most time, whether you're doing your schedule with Vivace or pencil or paper. So work slowly, be patient, recheck, and save often. There are 7 radio buttons at the top of the Pre-Schedule tab for filtering your pre-schedules. The default for this page shows all scheduling issues. Don't be alarmed that the number of events you are seeing is smaller than the total number of your festival registrations. That simply means you are viewing only the registrations with scheduling requests. Select all performances over here if you want to view 100% of your festival performances. Remember though, your theory registrations will not be included in that total performances. Here's the Pre-Schedule tab. The 2-step instructions are listed in the light blue boxes at the top. You will work to move unscheduled performances from the left to the schedule on the right into specific time windows. To do this, click the box next to the event or class in the performer column on the left. Then, click on the schedule icon in the desired time window. This will move the performance to that time window. You may select multiple performances to move a group into one time window. Once in the time window, you may specify the time of performance, although it is not required. To remove a student from the schedule, click on the arrow next to the performer's name and they will return to the left side. Active performances will remain highlighted turquoise until you save. Use the search box on the right to search for a specific room. As mentioned before, this will shorten your room list and reduce scrolling to find a room. Specific times, how do they work? Entering a specific time does not guarantee that the performance will be exactly at that time. Instead, the performance will remain in that window around the general time. Why does this happen? It is by design. Vivace will compact the schedule to eliminate small gaps, even if it were assigned times within a window. So performances may shift by a few minutes. Every time you recompile, the students who do not have an assigned time have the potential to be rearranged within their assigned time window. So how can you be sure that your assigned times do not move? Follow your duration times from the Setup tab exactly. Do not allow any gaps in that window so the program cannot compress the schedule, and every event then must be assigned a time. Vivace is designed to eliminate those small gaps for you to make the best use of all your available room time. A time chart can be handy for assigning performances to those rooms which use the same duration time. The chart can also help prevent those small gaps, as well as prevent overbooking a room. Do I need to assign a time to every performance? Oh, no. This is just for those critical performances which must stay in the schedule, like the students who have multiple performances or accompanists who cannot be in two places at one time. For those performances which must be assigned, assign a time at the beginning of a time window. Or if you have a performance near the end of a time window, be sure to assign times to all performances prior to the critical performance time. After a schedule is compiled, if you like the assigned times, you may, but are not required, to go back and add the assigned times on the Pre-Schedule tab to prevent movement in future recompiles. Search boxes appear throughout Vivace. On the Pre-Schedule page, the search box over the performer will search for any matches in the Schedule Info and Performer columns. You can search by name, time, teacher, siblings, basically anything. Here I searched for AM and found 7 performances, but there were actually more. Computers don't know that an AM and a 10:30 to 12 noon request are the same thing. If you type morning and AM, your chances of finding more morning requests increases. Note that any piece with morning in the title will also appear. The scheduling notes on the registrations are designed to be flexible. Decide what is most important for your area and schedulers, and then train your teachers. The search box in the Pre-Schedule tab allows you to search many ways, but first teachers must do their part and indicate scheduling requests on their registrations for their search to be effective. So take time to train your teachers as to how to enter scheduling requests in their registrations. Here's the right uh, schedule side of the pre-schedule page. Note that you can now see all scheduling notes as well as the required piece. This is an update for 2024, which makes the scheduling easier to review. So now your pre-schedules are all on the right side and scheduled. Proof your pre-schedules to see if all the time requests have been honored. You can use the search box on the right side to review each of your pre-schedules requests. More in-depth information on proofing can be found on the longer scheduling in Vivace video. Once the preschool schedules are finished, it is time to move on to the allocation tab. You may have chosen to pre-schedule all of your performance, and that's just fine. If not, then you will have some remaining performances which need to be allocated to time windows. So what is an allocation? Well, it's a performance which does not need to be pre-scheduled, but still needs to fit into the schedule. The remaining performances are allocated to any empty spots in the time windows. You will have a choice where you would like to place these remaining performances. Here's the right side of the allocation tab. You will need to determine where you have openings. Calculate the total time in the window. The first window here shows 29 minutes. Next, calculate the performance time already used in the window. On the far right, you can see the calculation. 2 plus 15 plus 12 equals 29. So now you know that the window is full. Take note of any remaining time in any of the time windows. The 10:05 to 10:56 time window has 4 extra minutes. You might need that spot for schedule conflicts or for last minute changes. Once you know the windows which have available time, you will again move performances from the left to the right, just like the pre-schedule page. Click in the box next to the performance and then the list icon on the right to add to the window. On the allocation page, any performances already scheduled in the pre-schedule tab will appear highlighted in tan. You cannot move pre-scheduled performances while you are in the allocation tab. You would need to go back to the pre-schedule page to make adjustments to any pre-schedules. Like the pre-schedule page, active performances will be highlighted in turquoise until they are saved. What does remaining 48 of 52 mean on the left? Well, it simply means that there are 52 primary 3 performances in this particular festival, and 48 still need to be scheduled. Looking at the right side, you'll find 4 primary 3 performances have been scheduled. They are sitting there in the 9:30 window. And now you have accounted for all 52 primary 3s. Don't be concerned if you have a room with only 2 more 7-minute performances in a room, but the left side says 48 of 52. The program will only fit 2 performances into your selected window and leave the remaining 46 unscheduled on the left side. It won't overbook the room. Continue until all your performances are scheduled. You've done most of the work. You've set up your durations. You've set up rooms. You've checked for overbooking, and all your performances are scheduled. So now it's time to go to the Schedule tab. The first time you view your schedule page, it will be blank until you finish your first compile. You will need to select one of 2 scheduling options. Alternating group classes will randomly mix the allocated performances around your assigned times. So you may end up with a D2 next to a P4. Grouping event classes together will group all the primary classes together and all the elementary classes together while still keeping your preschedules in place, so it'll be off just a little bit. You may end up with the same pieces next to each other. So select your option. When you are ready to click on Compile Schedule, or you are now ready to click on the Compile Schedule and your schedule will be created. If you have chosen to pre-schedule all your performances with specific times, then your times will be honored, providing you did not leave any gaps. The schedule which appears is in the standard or assigned time format. So what about the recital format? When you compile, the schedule will be in that standard schedule. This is simply the default view. Don't worry, the same schedule is waiting for you in recital format in the Select a Box, Select a Report menu box. Once you have compiled, you might see some adjustments you want to make. The sequence for making either corrections or adjustments is the same. Go back to the pre-schedule tab and make adjustments. Go to allocations and make adjustments, and go to your schedule tab to recompile to save the adjustments. Just because you saved them in pre-schedule or in allocation tabs, you're still going to have to go to the schedule tab and recompile and save. When you click compile schedule, you may encounter some messages. Read them. Cannot compile error message. Usually are related to overbooked time windows. Read the message. If a window is overbooked, the room and the time window will be identified. Go back and recalculate the total time in that window and decide how to reduce the minutes by moving the performance to another room or extending the time window by a few minutes. A message after the schedule is compiled might mention that there may be some unexpected results. Read the message to find out the room in the time window which needs your attention. Check if a gap was allowed in that particular time window. This might occur if you set up your room with a start time of 8:30, but once you finish scheduling, that window's first performance actually was 8:50. Now you have a gap from 8:30 to 8:50, which was not compressed. That's the unexpected result. Go back to the setup and adjust the start time. Or you may have moved a student leaving a gap and the program did not compress the window when it was recompiled. So just add the total minutes in that particular window and adjust your times accordingly. Once you like your schedule, take a break. Breathe. Come back and give it another thorough look. You are almost ready to distribute to your teachers. Be sure everything is in place. Adjustments to the schedule after distribution can be a little tricky. Notice the Select a Report drop-down box with helpful schedules to make your festival run smoothly, as well as all your rating sheets and the theory register. Still in the Schedule tab, click on Select a Report to view reports and rating sheets. Notice that there are 5 reports that are available in both scheduled or recital format. Some of the reports are compiled festival room schedule. This includes all your scheduling notes. Room schedule that's public lists student numbers only but no names. Room schedule monitor judge lists the teacher number and provides a column for the rating. Theory event register has already been mentioned. On this page, rating sheets can be printed either by order in the schedule or alphabetically by student's last name. For areas where teachers are asked to print a rating sheet for each of their students to bring to festival, there is a third way to access the rating sheet. It does require a simple setup. You will need to make sure that your festival settings page has been set to yes for rating sheets available for printing. Then you will need to instruct your teachers how to access the rating sheet. Here are the instructions for printing individual rating sheets found in the guide for teachers. Teachers will go to each student and download then print. If the area admin forgot to mark yes for accessing rating sheets in your festival setup, your teachers will not be able to access the rating sheets. The PDF icon will not appear. Also, teachers who do not use the program often may need assistance for downloading a PDF. After scheduling, your teachers will need their schedule and invoice. Click on the Teachers tab. First, select either standard or your recital format. Then, select your report. The 3 reports are schedule that uses registrations. This includes the theory registrations. It has the assigned times and students are in alphabetical order. Everything you saw on your registration sheet. Or you could choose to do schedule by room and time. This includes assigned times in room order. No theory registrations will appear since theory was not scheduled. Teachers who accompany their students would appreciate having this schedule so that they know where to go. If you have theory events, though, you probably will use the first registration schedule. You can use both. The third report is the teacher invoice. You can email directly to each teacher or choose to download a PDF and send any of these reports to the teacher by clicking the icon. The admin who selects to email will receive a duplicate email to verify that email has been sent. Please note that some emails sent by Vivace directly to the teachers have been blocked by the server, like Yahoo or MSN. Ask your teachers for confirmation they have received their invoices and/or schedules. You may need to send a PDF directly to those teachers. Okay, so what about those last minute cancellations after you have sent all the teachers their schedule? Do I still move cancellations to the cancellation? No. Oh, wait. Maybe, perhaps. After you have distributed the schedule to teachers and printed all the schedules, use caution. Your schedule will change if you just move a student to the cancellation room, then recompile to save changes. The gap left from the move will be compressed, and that particular window will shift. If you have quite a few allocations, the specific times may also shift in their window each time you recompile. After you've printed all your schedules and have encountered last minute cancellations, just first consider just writing in the cancellations with pencil, just like you have done in the past. If you pre-scheduled everyone with a specific time and you really, really want to change the schedule, you could adjust the time window to create a break where you made the gap. This would keep the assigned time in place and you could place the student in the cancellation room. Or you can just use the pencil for those last minute changes. Here's a review of some of the common errors made by schedulers. Duration times not followed, rooms were not set up with breaks, scheduler expected the pre-scheduled times to stay in place, schedulers distribute the schedule too soon without a thorough review, and you might have download blues. The first time users or users with a new computer have not set up the pop-up feature for the NFMC Festivals link. In conclusion, scheduling takes time, so proceed slowly and take breaks. Scheduling requires proofing of the complicated scheduling requests. Scheduling will compress small gaps. It involves teachers training. Tell your teachers your expectations as to how to enter siblings and time requests when they are registering. Scheduling does have support. Refer to your area admin guide in the Support Center for further guidance. And you can always ask your state admin for assistance. Thank you for your time and patience as you learn the skill of scheduling in Vivace. Scheduling will become easier as you work with the program. Know that you do have a support for your scheduling questions. And especially thank you for your dedication to make the NFMC festivals a positive experience for all of your students.